Last year was by far my biggest months ever. Tesla was up. Virgin Galactic was $50, but then everything crashed. Tesla can go back to 500, okay? And if you're looking into my watch list, you are seeing what I'm currently watching. Welcome and happy Sunday, as it is Tesla Sundays. Your favorite show for every Tesla investor, Tesla fanboy, every EV car enthusiast. This is the show that comes every Sunday, and guys, I have maybe the best Tesla Sundays episode for you since a very long time, okay? First, we will talk about the Tesla performance, how the Tesla stock performed over the 7 days since the last Sunday. We will talk about, and now you hold your horses because this could actually crash Tesla stock. We will talk about the 10-year bond and how it crashed the stock almost exactly a year from now, and we are seeing this again playing out. Then the third one is the Tesla stock chart, where we look into technical trends and see if there's anything to know about the technical chart of Tesla. And then finally, we will talk about maybe the most heartbreaking, most craziest story that I have ever. And here we go with the camera. As you can see, the camera don't want to work on a Sunday, so here we go. Okay, so, and last but not least will be the absolutely crazy story and most heartbreaking story that I have ever heard about Elon Musk with Jason Calacanis. So stay tuned and don't subscribe and don't smash the like button, and don't, for no reason at all, smash the ring bell. Okay, let's go. So before we diving into the content, let's talk about GSX. As you know, Apollo FinTech team, those guys behind this crypto project, are adding gold assets, mines, and they are growing like crazy, guys. Just recently, the value of GSX just doubled just because news of a new Zimbabwe mine getting added to the asset. So you can get your hands on GSX on the Bitmart crypto exchange, or just go with the link in the description and pay by credit card. Get your hands on GSX. Okay, here we go. So Tesla stock actually performed quite nicely over the last week, about 5%. And we have seen, a rally in the beginning of the week, right? Then a little bit of a sell-off. It stays very volatile, right? Just here, daily changes of 5% or more. It's absolutely crazy. And then, we are still at the market cap of 927. It's basically very easy to calculate the stock market cap for Tesla at this current situation, because you just multiply the 926, whatever it is, times a billion, and then you have $927 billion. So PE ratio really went down here from 300 something to 188, and as more it goes down, obviously it's more attractive for more people out there. The 52-week low was 539, which was approximately May last year. And the 52 weeks high is 1,243, and everybody's hoping we get there as soon as possible. But there is something that is needing to talk about, so stay tuned till the next very, very serious topic. If you're following my channel, then you know that I was early on Tesla. I unfortunately sold, but I make a huge profit and I'm happy, and don't look in the past, because in the end of the day, guys, if you are looking into the back mirror, then you cannot win a race, okay? So if you did some mistakes on the stock market, just live with it and learn from it, okay? This is so important. And speaking about learning things, okay? February last year was by far my biggest month ever. Tesla was up and I had some call options. Virgin Galactic was, I think, $40-50, which was almost the all-time high by then. It was a beautiful month, but then everything crashed. And if you're looking into my watch list, you are seeing what I'm currently watching. It's the VIX for volatility of the overall market, the 10-year treasury yields, S&P 500, Tesla, space, NASDAQ, Love, Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, that something that is so important to me that I put it on the second position of my watch list here on my iPhone. And this is the 10-year treasury yield, okay? When it goes up, and this is very simple to remember, if it goes up, it's bad for tech stocks, all right? There's a lot of videos explaining this in the internet, so if you want to go deeper into that, you can. In the last 3 months, okay, since December, we actually went from 1.3 to 1.9. 40% increase in 2 months, okay? This is quite heavy. It's not about that it is at around 2% or higher. It's about how fast it grows. And look when this was done before, if we're going back, okay? We need to actually go back 5 years because it's not really showing nicely how it is. Anyway, so you can see here in April 2021, we had the highest point, and 2 months ago, so basically April, February, approximately that. Also 2 months, we gained 50%. And what happened then? What happened with the stocks? What happened with Tesla? And you can almost guess it. Yes, Tesla lost a lot of value, okay? Back in, 1 second. Back in January 2021, everything was fantastic, right? The stock went to an almost all-time high with $835, but then it crashed 32%. The 7th of March was the lowest after that. And we were at 563. If it went even further, it recovered a little bit, but it stayed for a very long time at this 500 something mark, okay, for multiple months. So what I want to try to explain here, guys, even though I want Tesla to go forever and, proving my original and still my big bull thesis on Tesla that it can become the biggest company in the world, those macros are the biggest problems and issues and risks for Tesla shareholders, okay? Tesla can go back to 600, 700, 500, okay? There's a lot of reasons why this can happen, and this is one of it, and maybe one of the biggest ones. So watch out, and you will be updated on this channel, obviously. So let's dive into the stock chart to see which trends we see in the current stock market for Tesla. All right, here we go. The Tesla chart, the 6 months chart, as you can see here. And we kind of, wait, what the hell is that? Let me just clear the drawings here. So we are in this decision phase here, I would say, soon enough, because as of this let's say moment, we are seeing that the 50 moving average is going a little bit down, right? And the 200 moving average is going a little bit up. So we definitely should see an development over here, because it could mean that if I'm using here to draw a little bit, that maybe we see something like that, and then depending on the situation, either up or down, while I really think that we will test lower levels. But let's put this to the side a little bit. By the way, this is also the trends here towards the situations in the overall trends. You see here the overall trend is down. Here the trend is up, so it would fit this scenario. Okay, let's say it this way. However, we went from touching the 200 moving average way up, and now it's the question, are we staying here or we go further down and test those levels again? What we were gonna do, okay? And this is here, the situation on the RSI, for example, is currently at 45. That's about what we had also here. You can see here those levels. Still there was first an uptick and then a down sell off, then again an uptick, and so on and so forth. So it's not really clear based on that shape and based on the RSI levels where the stock could go. Obviously, I think that if you are then looking, for example, into this 5-day chart, and let me remove all the drawings here, or let's take the 1 month chart. The trend is definitely going down, okay? However, we have those recoveries, but still the overall trend is down, right? We coming from the high. So I'm quite, little bit skeptical about recent. I also want to show you something else. We are currently trading in the lower area of the Bollinger Band, so there could be still a little bit upturn until we move against here like we did here and basically go to the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So it stays interesting, guys. The chart gives us a rough idea that there's still some time till a very definite decision. No too much oversold or undersold situation. And the Bollinger Band shows us that we could be under upper end of this recovery of the last week. So let's see. Definitely to watch the 10-year bonds, right? I can also show that maybe that would be maybe also quite interesting to see. Okay, if we are looking into the Tesla chart here and then just add to comparison the 10-year bond. I hope this works. Let's put it in red, and then you can see here, as soon as this thing goes up, Tesla stock goes down. Okay, and here recently it went rather up just over the last couple of days, and Tesla stock still went up. So that's quite interesting to see what will happen. It stays super tight, guys. And now let's dive into the maybe most craziest and most emotional story that you can find on the internet about Elon Musk. Final and most entertaining part of this video is the story. Jason Kalanakis, the co-founder of the All In podcast, which I watch every single Friday. Go and watch it, All In podcast, very nice, with Shamas Palihapitiya, David Sachs, Friedberg. It's about politics, it's about economies, about venture capitalism, it's about stock market, okay? About investing, about, health, everything, science, everything. Make sure to go there and subscribe. It's very nice. Jason Kalanakis is also a very good friend with Elon Musk. He's an early supporter and investor in Tesla and so on and so forth. He also was with him on the Saturday night show and helped him a little bit with the humor there. However, so he's sharing on the Lex, another big podcast out there, something that is quite remarkable and tells you the story and the hard time that Elon went through with both companies, SpaceX as well as Elon Musk's Tesla. So let's have a look and see what we can learn out of that.
I could tell one story because, I don't talk about, I try not to talk about relationship with Elon that often because, he's so famous now. Yeah, I mean, when we met, I used to go out to parties with him and people were like, oh my God, you're Jason Kalanakis. I was like, yeah. And like, who's your friend? I'm like, that's my friend Elon. And they'd be like, what? He's doing rocket ships? But he's told this story publicly, so I can tell it. I would never talk about anything that he hasn't already talked about publicly, especially since he's so high profile, but it was a pretty funny moment. There was a moment in time when Tesla almost went out of business, and you've probably heard the story many times, but it was during the financial crisis, and they were running out of money. And I said, let's go get a steak. And we're in LA, and we drove to Boa, and I had my orange Tesla Roadster, and he had his P1 or P2, like the red one that I think is in space now. And we drove to the valet, and we had a steak together, and we're sitting there. And I said, I read the story in Gawker or whatever, New York Times, you only got like 5 weeks of money left in Tesla. He goes, it's not true. I was like, oh, thank God. he goes, we have 2 weeks. I was like, oh God. I was like, well, what's going on with the rocket ship company?
Yeah.
You know, like, I know you did the one last month and don't you have one coming up? He's like, yeah, we got the third one coming up. I was like, well, how's that going? He said, well, we blow that one up. There's no more SpaceX. I was like, so 2 weeks of money left in Tesla and SpaceX, you blew up the first 2 rockets, you blew up the third, SpaceX is over. He's like, yeah. I was like, I can loan you a couple $1 million. I don't have like a ton. He's like, it's okay. Our friend beep has loaned me some money. And Elon's been super public about this. I would never tell the story unless he hadn't been, but he was talking, he never said who it was, but somebody had loaned him money to keep him afloat. He was functionally bankrupt. Yeah. I mean, he had the equity in the companies, but the equity was quickly becoming worth zero and the financial crisis. And he's figuring out if he's going to go on vacation for Christmas or not. And he's on the phone trying to, save both companies. And I said, certainly there must be some good news. And he takes out his BlackBerry to date this conversation. There are no iPhones. Takes out his BlackBerry and he starts swiping and he says, don't tell anybody. This is what I'm building. And he shows me the Model S. And nobody knew that he was working on the Model S. We knew he was doing the Roadster and he was trying to save the company. And I looked at it and I was like, that's gorgeous. It was the clay models. So it was a full-size clay model. So there's human beings standing around a clay version of this tiny little BlackBerry picture. I'm scrolling through on remember that little pad or the ball on the BlackBerry? I'm scrolling through it. I'm like, this is fucking great. And I just said to him, it's like, what's the range going to be? He says, well, I think we get 250 miles. I was like, 250 miles? He's like, yeah, I think it'll be the safest car ever. I said, what is it going to cost? He says, I think this could cost eventually $50,000, $60,000. I said, Elon, if you make that car, you'll change the goddamn world. You have to, this company must survive because the Roadster's for like 2,000 people in the United States. This car is for every person in the United States. Every single person in the United States will want this car if it's $50,000. And maybe some of the people who have $20,000 or $30,000 cars won't be able to afford it, but they'll all want it. Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous. And he said, you really think so? I said, yeah. So I got home and I talked to my wife, Jade, and I said, do you have the checkbook? She does all the finances and stuff like that, pays every the bills and whatever. And I said, yeah, don't tell anybody Elon's making this great car. And I wrote 2 checks for $50,000. And I just took out a piece of paper and I wrote E, comma, love the new car. I'll take 2. And I signed it. I kissed the 2 $50,000 checks, put them in the envelope, and I FedExed it to him for Monday delivery. And I said to Jade, that $100,000 is going to be gone in 48 hours because it will pay for 1 or 2 days of payroll on Tesla. So we just added instead of 2 weeks in a row, he's got 12 days.
Yeah.
And the checks don't cash, but then I read a story that he's closed the money, he saved the company in the next week or 2. And a couple of months later, the checks get cashed. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. 3 years later, I get an email. Your reservation number, it's from Tesla. Yeah. Your reservation number is 000000001. And then 5 seconds later, your reservation number is 0000073. And I forwarded the number 1 to Elon. And I said, I can't take number 1, a signature number 1. I can't take that. That's yours.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I got 5 of them. And besides, you're the first person who ordered it. And I was the first person who had seen it.
You're going to get me to be teary-eyed.
And then I know it was a
beautiful moment.
It was an incredible moment for both of us. And we talk about it sometimes, those moments in time. And when to your point about love.
That's
Elon,
the darkest moment, one of the darkest moments in his life, probably. I think
it was, I can tell you it was the darkest period of his life, for sure. And he's been very public about how dark that was. And I think, this is why I have great sympathy for the entrepreneurs of the world, like the suffering and the pain. And when he talks about the suffering and the pain that all of these founders have felt, and then we're throwing rocks at them and we're criticizing them as they try to change the world and save humanity. And in Tesla's case, I mean, they weren't, they weren't like delivering pizza. I mean, they were trying to get us off of fossil fuels. Like this was a big, heady mission to literally save the environment, the planet, humanity.
So as you can see, nothing is impossible, and those stories are the most celebrated ones, right? As bigger the monster and go through it, and if you win the fight, as bigger the hero. So with that said, thank you very much. Have a fantastic Sunday, and we will talk later on in the live stream how those stocks can open tomorrow for a market open. So take care and see you soon.